When you turn on your faucet and fill up a glass, it feels safe, clear, refreshing, ordinary. Most people never question what's inside. Governments and municipalities tell us it's regulated, that it meets standards, that it's perfectly fine to drink. But what if those standards were never designed to protect your health? What if the very water you rely on every single day is slowly breaking your body down? The illusion of safety is powerful. Tap water is treated to prevent immediate death from bacteria or parasites, but long-term health was never the goal. What flows through your pipes isn't just water. It's a chemical cocktail filled with toxins you can't see, taste, or smell, but that silently affect you with every sip. One of the most common is chlorine. This chemical, once used as a weapon in World War I, is now poured into water systems to kill germs. It works, but it doesn't disappear. When chlorine mixes with natural particles like soil, leaves, or organic matter, it forms dangerous byproducts called trihalomethanes and haloacetic acids. A trihalomethane, for example, includes chloroform. Yes, the same chemical that was once used to knock people unconscious during surgeries. These compounds are linked to cancer, DNA damage, and reproductive issues. Haloacetic acids do something equally sinister. They damage your DNA and irritate your skin, eyes, and internal tissues. You might feel it as dry skin after showers, brittle hair, or a burning throat after long exposure. Your liver and kidneys are forced to deal with these compounds every single day. Another chemical you've been told to trust is fluoride. Entire campaigns have painted fluoride as the hero that saves your teeth. What's hidden is that the fluoride added to water usually isn't of the natural kind, found in tiny amounts in soil or spring water. It's industrial waste in the form of sodium fluoride or fluorosilicic acid, collected as byproducts of fertilizer factories. While fluoride can harden tooth enamel when applied directly to the teeth, swallowing it daily is a different story. Fluoride is a neurotoxin, meaning it can damage brain cells. Studies show that children exposed to high levels of fluoride score lower on IQ tests. And it doesn't stop at the brain. It competes with iodine, which your thyroid gland desperately needs to regulate metabolism and energy. Over time, fluoride leaves people drained, foggy-headed, heavier, and more depressed without knowing why. Then there are the heavy metals, the silent poisons carried by old corroded pipes and contaminated water supplies. Lead is the most notorious. Even at levels too low to taste or smell, lead poisons the nervous system, lowers memory and focus, and raises blood pressure. In children, it permanently lowers IQ and creates behavioral problems that can last a lifetime. Copper, when it leaches from pipes, builds up in the liver and brain, leading to anxiety, irritability, and organ damage. Arsenic, a known carcinogen, seeps in through groundwater in many areas and slowly raises the risk of bladder and lung cancer. Mercury, one of the most toxic substances known to humanity, damages the brain, kidneys, and immune system even in trace amounts. These metals don't just pass through you. They lodge in bones, tissues, and organs, stacking up year after year. The symptoms creep in gradually. Headaches that don't go away, aching joints, fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, digestive problems with no clear cause. And if metals weren't enough, there's another hidden danger in your glass. Pharmaceuticals. Millions of people take medications every day. Antidepressants, antibiotics, painkillers, birth control pills. Tiny amounts pass through their bodies and enter wastewater. Treatment plants filter out dirt and bacteria, but they were never designed to filter out drugs, which means those drugs come back in the tap water you drink. Researchers have found residues of antidepressants that affect serotonin levels, antibiotics that kill off your healthy gut bacteria, and hormones from birth control pills that disrupt the endocrine system. For women, this can mean irregular cycles or fertility issues. For men, it can mean lowered testosterone, reduced energy, and mood swings. Children are hit the hardest, as their small bodies are highly sensitive to hormonal changes. Imagine taking tiny doses of drugs you never asked for, every single day. That's what tap water delivers. Even newer than pharmaceutical residues is something almost everyone is now consuming without realizing it: microplastics. These are fragments of plastic smaller than grains of sand that come from bottles, packaging, and synthetic fabrics. Scientists have found them in over 80% of global tap water samples. They don't just pass through. They carry pesticides, metals, and industrial chemicals, releasing them inside your body. They irritate your gut lining, inflame tissues, and disrupt your microbiome, the community of bacteria that regulates digestion, immunity, and mood. This can show up as constant bloating, sudden food sensitivities, lowered energy, or skin breakouts. Over time, microplastics weaken your immune system and confuse your hormones. Now think about how all of this feels in real life. You wake up tired, even after sleeping 8 hours. You drink plenty of water, but your lips are still dry, your skin looks dull, and your energy never feels steady. Headaches come more often, sometimes after a long shower. Your digestion feels unpredictable, bloating, gas, or constipation without explanation. Your mood shifts randomly, your focus drifts, and sometimes you feel like you're moving through fog. These aren't just getting older or being stressed. These are your body's alarm bells, warning you about toxins it's absorbing daily. The system doesn't warn you about this because the system was never designed to protect you. Water standards focus on preventing you from dying today of cholera, not protecting you from cancer or dementia 20 years down the road. When officials say the water is safe, they mean safe enough to avoid lawsuits, not safe enough to preserve your long-term health. And so millions of people drink chemical-laced water every single day, never connecting their fatigue, their brain fog, or their hormonal issues back to the tap. This is only the surface of what tap water is doing to your body. In the next continuation, we'll explore how these toxins build up over the years, how they accelerate chronic disease, and what real solutions exist to protect yourself and your family. Because the water you drink should heal you, not harm you. The real danger of tap water isn't just in what it does to you today, but in how it slowly erodes your health over years and decades. Every sip adds to a hidden burden your body has to carry, and eventually, that burden spills over into disease. The damage is rarely immediate. Instead, it creeps in, showing up as chronic fatigue, digestive problems, skin disorders, anxiety, or weight gain. By the time a doctor gives it a name, arthritis, diabetes, cancer, dementia, the roots of the illness have been growing silently for years, watered by toxins that were never supposed to be there. Chlorine byproducts like trihalomethanes and haloacetic acids don't just irritate your skin or dry your hair, they build up, attacking DNA itself. Damaged DNA is the seed of cancer, and cancers of the bladder and liver are especially linked to long-term chlorinated water. Fluoride doesn't just make you feel sluggish, it accumulates in bones, making them brittle. It calcifies the pineal gland, a small structure in your brain that regulates sleep cycles and hormonal rhythms. Over years, this calcification leaves people with disrupted sleep, mood disorders, and weakened connection between body and mind. Heavy metals embed themselves into tissues. Lead sits in bones, leaching out slowly, creating neurological issues even years after exposure stops. Mercury crosses into the brain and alters how neurons fire, leading to tremors, memory lapses, and mood swings. Arsenic and copper accumulate in the liver and kidneys, forcing these organs to work harder until they start to fail. The pharmaceuticals are just as insidious. Imagine drinking trace amounts of antidepressants for 10 years without ever knowing it. Over time, your brain's natural chemistry no longer regulates itself properly. Imagine ingesting hormones from birth control pills without choice. Slowly, estrogen builds up in your body, raising risks of cancers in the breast and reproductive organs. Antibiotic residues destroy good gut bacteria, the very organisms responsible for digesting food, producing vitamins, and defending against infections. Without them, immunity weakens, digestion becomes chaotic, and inflammation spreads everywhere. Microplastics are perhaps the most deceptive of all because they are so new and so invasive. These tiny fragments enter every part of the body. They irritate the gut lining, leading to leaky gut syndrome, a condition where the intestinal barrier becomes porous, allowing toxins and food particles to slip into the bloodstream. This triggers the immune system to attack, causing allergies, autoimmune diseases, and chronic inflammation. Some microplastics carry endocrine-disrupting chemicals, meaning they mimic or block hormones. They confuse the body's delicate balance, causing weight gain, infertility, early puberty in children, or lowered testosterone in men. Others carry carcinogens that latch onto DNA and create mutations that may not show their effects for decades. Now picture the body as a finely tuned machine. The liver, the kidneys, the gut, the brain, all working tirelessly to keep you alive and thriving. But every day that you drink tap water, these organs are loaded with extra work. The liver detoxifies chlorine byproducts, the kidneys strain to filter metals, the gut tries to fight plastics, the brain endures chemical assaults, the thyroid struggles under fluoride. No machine can run under constant stress without breaking down. And when it breaks down, it doesn't happen cleanly. It happens as a cascade. First low energy, then hormone problems, then digestive issues, then disease. This isn't an accident. The water system was never designed to nourish you. It was designed to prevent lawsuits, to keep costs low, and to create the illusion of safety. The phrase meets safety standards does not mean safe for human health. It means safe enough to avoid killing the population quickly. There is no law demanding water keep you healthy for the next 40 years. Only that it doesn't poison you today in ways regulators can be blamed for tomorrow. But you can take back control, because not all water is equal. There is a difference between dead water and living water. Tap water, stripped, chlorinated, and contaminated, is dead. It hydrates poorly, leaves